What's up, pouty people? I am your host, Elle, and this is Pout Palace Podcast. As per usual, I'm so glad that you guys are here. I think I have something very important that I need to tell you, and I can't put my finger on it. Oh, that's right. I'm pregnant again with my second baby. I am feeling good. I am very tired. It happened a lot faster than I was expecting. Like, we fully expected to have to try for like 5-6 months, like, with Lorenzo, but nope. First try, nailed it. And I've been posting a lot of content on my TikTok right now, like pregnancy related stuff. And like, I've kept a lot of drafts and things like that from the past 10 weeks kind of hidden because I haven't been able to announce yet. Like, if there's one thing in this world that is the absolute worst for me, it's keeping a secret. Like, not like somebody else's secret, my secret. I had to keep the secret for 2 weeks from my husband that I was pregnant because I wanted to tell him in like a cute way and post it on TikTok, which I did. And I also, you're not supposed to tell people super early just in case there's a problem. And so with my first pregnancy, I didn't tell anybody for like, I think we didn't announce till like 12 weeks, maybe more than that. And I announced this pregnancy around 9.5 weeks. So definitely breaking the rules with this one a little bit more, but you know what? Whatever. I feel good. I am just experiencing the whole pregnancy thing all over again. Cause like the first time I loved it. It was the first time being pregnant, right? And I'd always dreamed of it and dreamed of having a baby. Always wondered what that would feel like and how my body would handle it. And I had a very good first pregnancy. This one is kicking my butt. I am so tired. I am starving all the time. I can't stop eating. I can't stop thinking about food. I have the weirdest cravings, and it's not like I'm thinking about something and then like I want to go eat it. Like, I'll be scrolling on TikTok and I'll see somebody eating a burrito and then I'm like, I need a burrito. Like, my lungs need air and I need it now. It's really, really bad. But my skin has gotten terrible. I'm swelling up like a balloon. I lost 30 pounds after I had Lorenzo, and I'm swiftly gaining that back. So that's fantastic. But you know what? I did it once and I can do it again. But I'm really excited. I feel like everybody thinks it's going to be a girl. I'm not going to know the gender for another few weeks. But, oh, by the way, it is storming outside. Like, it's kind of scary. Like, right now it is only 4 in the afternoon and it was sunshine about 10 minutes ago. And now all of a sudden it's just like torrential downpour. And that is my pouty point for the week. The weather in New Jersey / Pennsylvania, because I live like on the on the boundary line or whatever. I can't even tell you, all of my plans are getting ruined constantly because of the weather. Like, I rely on being able to take my rambunctious 1-year-old son. Oh my God, did you hear that? That was literally thunder. My son's gonna wake up from his nap. I'm trying to record right now while he's on his nap. But anyway, I rely on the weather to be nice in the summertime so that I can take my son to the park, because if I don't, he is insane and he will not sleep. So yeah, the fact that it was just so beautiful outside one minute and then next it's torrential downpour, thunder, lightning. Like, what is that? If I wanted to live in darkness and rain, I would move to Seattle. I'd probably get murdered like everyone does in Seattle, but I would move there if I wanted this doom and gloom all the time. Or I would just like go to Forks, right? Anyway, so I've been watching a lot of Love Island. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Love Island and I wasn't going to, but everyone was talking about it on TikTok and all my friends. Speaking of my TikTok, I'm so close to 10K. I really, really, really would love it if you can go follow me if you're not already, which is insane if you're not already, because my content is hilarious. Not really. I'm totally tooting my own horn where I don't deserve to, but I'm so close to 10K, and once you get to 10K, yeah, you can make some money, but honestly, I just want to be able to make playlists. Like, I just want to clean up my feed, clean up my profile, make it look nice and organized. I have a little bit of OCD. Don't know if I mentioned that before, but I want to just be able to make everything look nice and neat. So if you haven't followed me yet on TikTok, please shoot me a follow. I would love you forever. Obviously, I already do. But anyway, back to Love Island. I started watching it like 2 weeks late. And if you don't know anything about Love Island, there's an episode every single night except for Wednesdays. So I had like 14, 15 episodes to catch up on. And they're each an hour long. And I've never cared about Love Island because I gave it a shot before. I watched some season with the UK version once. And unfortunately, it was really boring. Like, I don't remember which season it was, but I remember being like, oh my God, this is such a drawn out show. Like, nothing is happening. It seems like, I don't know, it just seemed boring. And so I was hesitant to try this time, but then everyone was like, oh my God, no, it's so dramatic. The people are crazy. You got to give it a shot. So you know what? I said, okay, fine. And I watched it. And now, unfortunately, I'm hooked because it's a terrible dumpster fire of a show. But I have to keep watching it. And I have thoughts. I have opinions. First of all, this whole episode, I think, is going to be based off of, like, how we need to put our pride in check, okay? I think that a lot of people on Love Island's problems come down to pride. And especially Ace. That's right, I said it. So I'm going to go into a little spiel about this right now. If you don't watch Love Island, stay and listen or fast forward, but it has to be said. My opinions need to be put out there, okay? Because I'm scared that if I talk about this on TikTok, I'm gonna get shredded alive, because the minute that you talk about Shelly or Alandria in a bad light, like, everybody comes for you because, you know. So basically, Ace, I think he's a little tiny ringleader leprechaun, and people are like, he's a producer plant. I never fully understood what that meant, but I'm guessing that he's very heavily influenced in his actions by the producers. And I could see that. And I didn't really see it until last night's episode where he's making out with Amaya over and over again, who he snubbed like a week before, 2 weeks before. The whole Huda and Jeremiah thing, despicable. The way she acted was terrible. And I'm always the first one to pick a girl's side, but she was terrible, and she's a mother. She is way too old to be acting like that. However, crazy recognize crazy, okay? I understand her. I get why she is the way she is. I feel terrible about it. Doesn't excuse her actions though, and I felt bad that she was the reason that Jeremiah's experience got ruined. But at the end of the day, it's also his fault because he needed to have the strength to stand up and walk away, and he didn't. So anyway, now that that's all said and done, we have so many people there that do not need to be there that I cannot stand. Austin, why is he there? Why is he there? Get rid of him and get rid of that girl that he's dating. I don't even know her name. Taylor? No. I don't know. Jordan, maybe? She's weird. I don't like her. Get them both off. The whole Sierra, Nick, and Alandria thing, absolutely ridiculous. You mean to tell me that your supposed best friend in the house goes and gets partnered up with your basically boyfriend, and then since you're not there, the two of them decide to just like see where things will go and see if there's a connection and explore each other, and you're not upset about that? Please, bullshit. And then Iris was the only one that said anything. She's one of the most boring people on the show. She's the only person that said, oh yeah, well, that's weird, and that would make me feel bad. And then Sierra said, with her lips sticking out, yeah, I think you might be right. Oh, now I am feeling some type of way. Sorry, if you're watching the YouTube, I was just very mean to Sierra, but her lip filler is bothering me. Also, another huge topic of conversation, the body enhancements, the lip filler, like everything that people are doing to their faces. That poor girl was 21 years old. I'm gonna see if I can find a picture of her. 21 years old, and her entire face was just completely destroyed. Apparently too, her mom is like some sort of like injector, or does some sort of, works at a med spa or something, so you know that's where it's coming from. But this poor girl, literally, it comes up as soon as I type in Vanna. Her name is Vanna. She's on Love Island. Her plastic surgery is just out of control. All right, if you're watching the YouTube, I'm going to hold it up. But it's so sad. It's so sad. Because she is a beautiful girl. And you could tell that she was beautiful before she got all of this stuff done to her. But, like, people were calling her Jigsaw, whatever. And, like, I was genuinely worried that she was going to come out of Love Island, and she has now, and she was going to just have a mental breakdown. And people have actually killed themselves from being on the show. But she's denying everything. She's basically like, oh, no, you guys are so jealous that I'm pretty, and God forbid I have bad makeup one day. And it's like, girl, we were saying this so you would open your eyes. Anyway, the biggest topic of conversation right now is what happened on last night's episode, where they had this like this heart rate challenge, where basically, first of all, porn, just straight porn. I'm also realizing that I'm just not a fan of this show because of how trashy it is, and how the challenges are all just everyone making out with each other. Like, how do they not all have STDs at this point? Like, I'm sorry, but gross. Like, really, really gross. I don't know if that's just because I'm a mom or I'm 29 and old, but come on, disgusting. So anyway, there was a lot of making out, swap and spit, whatever, in this challenge, and Shelly got upset because Huda went too far with Ace. And I think that we're not seeing the full picture. I think production definitely cut something out of that scene that we didn't see. I personally think that it was just a tent in Ace's pants, possibly. But I think it's ridiculous that, oh my gosh, the thunder's insane right now. I think personally, Ace has been in love with Huda this whole time. He wanted Jeremiah out from the start because Jeremiah was his competition with Huda, and he didn't make a move on her because he knew that he doesn't stack up next to Jeremiah. Once Jeremiah is gone, now he's like, Shelly, I know I was like all in on you, but I'm thinking that maybe I don't want to be 100% closed off just yet. And Shelly's like, oh, okay, like I thought that we were cool and everything, but okay, whatever. So then Huda is in this challenge, and she and Ace like do this weird sexual thing that we didn't get to see the whole part of, and now Shelly's mad. Shelly is mad. She says that Huda went too far. We didn't see what it was that made her go too far. But guys, I don't know. And then Alandria sits next to Shelly and has the audacity to say, oh yeah, well, it was really wrong. She took it too far. She's not respecting boundaries. Like, how could she do that to you? Blah, 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 blah. Like, Alandria, you just made out with your best friend's basically boyfriend to look for a spark. Get out of here. Get off my screen. I don't want to see you on my screen. And then I don't understand why everybody's saying that Huda is the one that's having a double standard, because when she and Jeremiah were together, closed off, Huda asked everybody to like be polite and not like go crazy on her man. Shelly and Ace literally confirmed in the beginning of the episode that they still wanted to explore. So I know this might make me unpopular, but I have always hoped that Huda could have a redemption arc and show people that she's not insane, because I truly think that she was just like maybe mentally manipulated by the situation to act that way, and like had an actual mental emotional break. And I've been hoping that she has some sort of redemption arc, but I don't think we're gonna get that. The women hate her, and I think another reason why they hate her, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say, is because they are jealous of her, because the hottest guy from the very beginning went straight to her. They were like inseparable from the start. He gave her all his attention. They were pretty cut off from everybody else, didn't want to explore, and they were jealous of that. And they've always hated her. So that's all I have to say about Love Island. Tonight is apparently like something called movie night, I think, where I believe they're going to show footage that hasn't been seen, I don't know, to the other Islanders. But we're going to find out. I am unfortunately addicted. But anyway, I think what I'm trying to say is the show is terrible. The drama is manufactured, and the people are all train wrecks. But that's what you get when you have a bunch of 22-year-olds wandering around making out with each other. And yes, Ace is 22 years old. 22. Shelly's 27. Why is she like crawling on her hands and knees trying to get with a 22-year-old that bad? Seriously. And he's obviously just obsessed with Huda. So Huda, shoulda, woulda, I guess. Anyway, next, I watched this thing called the Poop Cruise documentary on Netflix. I mentioned this on my story, but I thought it was absolutely insane. And basically, a cruise ship had a fire in the engine room, which shut off the electricity and made the toilet stop working. And it was a bad documentary. Like, there wasn't much for them to pull from to make this into a full documentary. So, like, it was kind of empty, but it really struck a chord with me. The entitlement of the people that were being interviewed. There was a group of 3 women who were on a bachelorette trip. There was a guy who had just gotten engaged and couldn't stop talking about how much he loved his father-in-law. And some old guy and his daughter who he kept crying, saying it was his fault. So I'm thinking at this point, he's the one that started the fire in the electrical room. But anyway, I digress. These people were told, okay, the toilets aren't working, and you're gonna have to poop in this red bag for 2 to 3 days, however long we're stuck on this ship for. Please just do that. Pee in the shower, use the plastic bags. And these people were literally so entitled that they said, no way. We're not gonna poop in these plastic bags. We're gonna go down the hallway, find a public restroom, and poop on top of somebody else's poop, like a porta potty, so we don't have to poop in a plastic bag, seal it up, and then put it out of our room, right? And then the ship gets rescued and then gets towed away. And while it's getting towed away, it shifts, it tilts, making all of the poop flow out of the toilets that everybody were clogging up because they refused to use the red bags. And that just bothered me so much. I had to talk about it again because I haven't stopped thinking about that. And then you're gonna have the audacity to go on a documentary on Netflix and just talk about how entitled you were. Come on, poop in the freaking bag for 2 days. You can do it. 4 days, however long they were on the stinking cruise for. Poop in the bag. That's all I have to say about that. A lot of stuff in the media right now that I have to talk about, but one of the biggest things is materialists. I know I'm a little late to the game because it's been, 2 weeks since I did my last episode, but Materialists came out, and that's the movie with Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and Chris Evans. And it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. Save your money if you're gonna go see this movie. Save your money unless you want to go watch it ironically, in which case I'm all for it. Horrific. Actually horrific. Like, the writing, I told my friend who I went to go see it with after we were kind of like debriefing a little bit, it read like a rich director's daughter wanted to be a writer. So she came up with this terrible script and said, Daddy, please make this movie for me. And he said, you got it. And also, Dakota Johnson, she just ruins everything she touches. She's going to be in a movie called Verity coming out, I believe, next year. And it's an adaptation of a Colleen Hoover book that I really, really love. Why does this girl keep getting parts? And did you guys know she's a Nepo baby? I just found that out. Like, I know I must live under a rock or something, but horrible acting. And she ruined it. She ruins everything. I mean, the script was terrible to begin with, but the acting was bad on all fronts. Pedro Pascal's acting was terrible, and his character didn't even make any sense. Chris Evans, bad acting. Like, what is going on? I think it's just the Dakota effect. I think that everything she touches just turns to shit. And I'll give you an example. I have never in my life heard somebody refer to somebody else as poor, right? Like, people just don't say that in real life. People don't, like, you know, they'll joke around and be like, oh, sorry, I can't afford that. I'm poor, haha. But I've never heard somebody say to another person, like, I don't like you because you're poor. And that was like half of the movie. She was like, I know we love each other and we probably would have a very happy life, but you're poor and I can't be with you because you're poor. She must have said the word the words "you are poor" or "he's poor" or "poor, poor, poor" like 20 times in the whole movie. So bad. You're poor. Speaking of somebody who is not poor, Jeff Bezos and what's her name, Lauren Sanchez. Yeah, they got married. What the hell? What the hell? I keep learning things about this wedding against my own wants, like against my will. I don't want to see anything about this wedding. I don't care about this wedding. I don't care about Jeffrey Bezos. I don't care. She is terrifying to look at. And I know that's really mean to say, but she married Jeffrey Bezos. So I think she sold her soul. And it shows because she's scary. Like, actually terrifying. And the fact that her wedding dress is not great, and it's very, like, it looked super cheaply made. It looked like somebody trying to cosplay as someone with wealth, which makes sense if you're an alien with stretched skin over your face and you're trying to blend in with humanity. It makes sense that you would think that dress was classy. But she couldn't have picked anything else. Like, the dress itself, I feel like it wasn't that bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't that bad. Everybody hates it, you know. But I think that everybody's upset because it's her wearing that dress. Like, arguably now one of the richest women in the world. And you chose that as your wedding dress? Like, not to mention, apparently at the ceremony, they covered the ground in carpet because, like, it would be too expensive to excavate the entire thing and put gravel down or level it out. I'm not sure. But it's Jeff Bezos. Like, he can afford anything. I don't understand that. And then the invitations. Oh my God, the invitations. So bad. You know what's weird about this wedding, though? Orlando Bloom was there. Katy Perry wasn't. And Katy Perry apparently had, like, some sort of, like, work obligation. I don't know if that's because she's on tour or whatnot, but she was in Australia for the wedding. I didn't realize that, like, Orlando Bloom was friends with Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. I thought it was just Katy Perry. So now I'm even more confused about why they're getting, I guess they weren't married, separated. I think they were just engaged, but they're now getting separated, or they're not together. They broke up. And I thought, for some reason, I don't know why, I thought that it had to do with her, like, I don't know, befriending Jeff Bezos and going to space and being weird. But apparently not, because Orlando Bloom was over there at the wedding, and everybody's making a big deal out of him talking to Sydney Sweeney. And I think it's the funniest thing ever, because Sydney Sweeney, come on. Anybody talking to Sydney Sweeney would look like they're falling in love, because that girl, she just exudes lust, you know? I don't get it. All right, last thing I wanted to talk about before we get into some Reddit stuff, because I know you guys love that. There is this woman on TikTok. I believe her name is Courtney Johnson. Her account is gone now. At least it was last time I checked. I'm pretty sure she keeps going on and off and on and off. She made a video that has really disturbed thousands of women, millions of women even, on the internet. And she is, her video, she's like called the princess treatment lady, okay? Her video that she made was essentially saying how she lives her life by this princess treatment rules. And she's, I think, like 36, 37. She does not look it. She looks a lot older than that. And she's married, and I don't know if she has a kid or not, but she basically said that the way she lives her life, the etiquette in which she lives her life, is that her husband makes every single decision for her. She does not work. She does not go places. She just kind of like stays home and reads and diets herself into oblivion. And she, for example, if they go out to eat together, she doesn't make eye contact with the waiter or the hostess, and she's not permitted, she doesn't answer any questions. So like the husband will order for her. If the hostess asks her a question, she doesn't look at them and she does not respond. And obviously it's a kink. Okay, we know this. Obviously, it's a weird kink. It's a weird fetish. It's some sort of like slavery, weird dom sub thing. Which I feel like people need to chill out a little bit with the no kink shaming, because I feel like we definitely need to kink shame, especially when it's like furries. But you guys know how I feel about that. But I don't think that it's cute and fun to say, like, I don't kink shame. Like, sometimes it's okay to kink shame. In this situation, at first, I said, you know what, it's not very feminist to say that this woman can't live her life this way, because that's what she wants to do. That's how she wants to live. That's how she wants to go on about her life, and she wants to be this weird, like, creature that just like folds in on herself and tries to make herself look as small as possible and quiet and meek, and doesn't want to look like an actual human being because she needs to be as thin as Gollum. But anyway, I felt like, you know what, it's not fair to tell her how to live her life. But she then got on the internet and started telling women that if they don't listen to her and don't behave and act how she behaves and acts, and lives her life, their lives according to what she believes is correct, then they're lesser women. And that's where it's not okay. And also, if you're gonna get on the internet and you're gonna say some weird shit, expect some bad treatment back. Honestly, people do not hold back on the internet, and you should know that. Apparently, she's been trying to become an influencer in one form or another for years. Like, she has some YouTube that never took off, and other Instagram profiles and things like that never took off. So clearly this is all for clout. This is all for notoriety, and it's working, because every time I check her Instagram or her TikTok page, if it's still up, she has a couple more thousand followers, and that's every few hours. So she's making bank off of this, and as she should. You should capitalize on it. But I think that if you're going to influence, it shouldn't be to influence people to do something harmful. It's okay to go ahead and share your life and share how you want to do things, and, you know, talk about how you live. But the second you tell other people that that's how they need to live, and if they don't, then they're in the wrong and they're lesser than you, that's when you're going to start a problem. I think it's very weird, but I don't know. I just think that everyone would be much better off if we just minded our own business a little bit more, and including her. I think she needs to just go on about her life, live in her weird little world, and just stop making videos about it. But clearly that's not what people do, because you want the money, you want the fame. And it's all about pride. It's all about pride. So I asked you guys this week for our Pouty Monday question, what did I ask exactly? I said, what is a time that you let your pride get in the way? And I got a lot of good responses, but the main theme of the responses that you guys sent me was about texting a guy back or texting a guy first. And a lot of you said, I refuse to text a man first, or I refuse to double text a man, or if I haven't heard from a guy, I refuse to text him back and, you know, follow up and see what's going on. And that got me thinking about this time in high school where for the very first time I had met a guy who was older than me. I think he was a freshman in college and I was a junior. And I would text this guy for months. Like, I don't even know how we got in contact. I think maybe he liked a picture of mine on Facebook or something, or he messaged me or something. Like, we never saw each other in person, which is crazy. But I remember really, really liking him. And we texted each other for months back and forth, just like, you know, being flirty, being nice. Like, I would tell him like everything. And it was the first time in my life that I had ever felt like I had some sort of connection to a guy like that. And then out of the blue one day, he never texted me back. And it was just in the middle of a conversation. It was like, you know, okay, well, you know, I'm thinking I have to go do my homework. Oh, well, what homework do you have? And then I don't think I ever got a response from that. But I didn't ever text him and be like, hey, like, did you mean to stop talking to me? Or like, hey, did you forget to respond? Or is something wrong with your phone? Like, nothing. And then like a year later, and I was now in a relationship, like my first real relationship, he texted me and was like, hey, like, I really miss our conversations. Like, I wish that we had never stopped talking. Like, how are you doing? And I was like, well, you never texted me back. And he was like, oh, I didn't even realize that. Like, I maybe didn't get your last text or something like that. And if I had just like swallowed my pride a little bit and been like, oh, hey, I'm just checking in. Like, is your phone broken? Or like, did you mean to not respond to me? Like, is everything okay? I could have saved myself like a year of wondering, and who knows what had happened and where that would have gone with that guy. But obviously everything happens for a reason, and all of the heartbreak led me to my husband. So whatever. So anyway, I found this thread on Reddit that I thought was funny, but basically it's called what do you do or refuse to do in the name of pride? And the first person said, never initiate a text message after 2 times. If I have to text you 3 or more times to start a conversation, chances are you don't want to talk in the first place. I agree with that one. Somebody said, I always put the cart back in the corral at the store. As you should. There's actually, I think I might have talked about this before, but there is actually a study that showed that like people who don't put their carts back have more like psychopathic tendencies or something in their brains. Like, it's actually insane. I have to find the study. I'm going to post it on my Instagram if I can find it. But yeah. Next one says, refuse to be late. When I'm late, I hate myself. This actually makes me angry when the situation is reversed and others are late without a single heads up. No call, no text, no prior notice of being late, no apology or even outright lie. Like, yeah, I'm 5 minutes away. 30 minutes later and you're still not here? F you. Oh my gosh. Okay, so my son just turned on the TV on while I was recording, which he's never here when I record, but today is my husband's like birthday party at my parents' house, so I'm going kind of like back and forth. Oh, anyway, so yeah, basically I have a couple of friends. I have more than a couple of friends who are literally always late. And I have just at this point in time started telling them that things are starting like a half an hour or 45 minutes before. And I don't understand how, like, respectfully, I love these people, but I don't understand how do you have a job? Like, how do you have a job that you consistently have to be not late to? Like, are you late to your job too? And I'm just like not as important? I don't know. But anyway. And then the last one is somebody said that they will not do this in the name of pride. Use Starbucks' stupid alternate names for cup sizes. Like, they won't say like grande or venti or whatever. Like, okay, you're so cool. Good for you. I'm glad that you're like that. But personally, I think that's a bit much. But I will say it does get confusing when you go to Dunkin' one day and out of nowhere, you haven't gotten your caffeine yet. So you just say, can I have a grande Dunkin' latte and blah, blah. And then they say back with so much venom in their voice. They're like, do you mean a medium Dunkin' latte? Oh yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, that actually happened to me this morning. Anyway, so let's read a couple stories. Basically, stories involving people who are letting their pride get in the way. This first one is from the subreddit Waiting to Wed. It is called He Proposed But Took It Back, Looking for Advice. I need some advice because I honestly feel like I have whiplash from last night's events. My boyfriend, 36 male, and I, 26 female, 10-year age gap, spicy, have known that we were going to be together long term since the very beginning and knew our relationship would result in marriage. There has been zero pressure for proposal, wedding, marriage, etc. from either of us or the people in our lives. We even went ring shopping and he ended up purchasing a beautiful ring that we both agreed on, and it's been in our home since May. He told me to have my nails ready for July through August, so that way I didn't have an exact time frame of when it would happen, just to be ready. I work from home, so he lets me wear it in the house. Super silly, I know. That is super silly. But we're both just so excited and we love looking at the ring. Up until this point, he hasn't officially proposed, but since we both know that we're going to get married, he feels that we're basically engaged without telling people. I thought it was cute, so I went along with it. Well, last night he proposed, but not in the way that I thought it would happen. We were laying in bed, I know, super cliche, and just about to fall asleep. As we're facing each other, he says, I'm waiting for a more formal day to ask you, where you can have your nails done, a pretty dress on, and someone taking photos of the proposal, but will you marry me? I paused. I was super serious. It was super serious the way he said it, and I wasn't expecting to be laying in bed, which caught me off guard. After my brief pause, I said yes, and we started kissing. In between kisses, I asked a few questions because I was so spun up about it. I asked, does this mean that we're engaged? He said yes. I asked one more clarifying question, which was, does that mean that you're my fiance? He said yes. We were both in the moment and we made love. Afterwards, I was laying on his chest and he said that I couldn't believe we were engaged and asked if I could start wearing the ring outside the house. He then got uncomfortable and said, well, I wouldn't be making posts on Facebook that we were engaged. It's not official. I just wanted to confirm that you would say yes when I do. My heart sunk. So I asked, so that means that you're my boyfriend, not my fiance, like you just said? He said, yes. He said, I can't tell people that we're engaged and it's only between us, even though we're technically not engaged. He said he doesn't want this story to be what we tell people, and this moment was just for a between us moment. I asked, isn't the proposal a between us moment? And he paused and was like, oh yeah, that's true. He apologized when I told him that the whole situation confused me, and I felt like he was playing with my heart and emotions. I guess I don't know what to make of this situation. He was not malicious in this at all. I think he's just very excited and didn't think it through. But it definitely played in my head, emotions and heart. I still feel confused. He told me plan for July after all this and we'll make it official. But now I feel like the excitement is gone. My boyfriend proposed but then took it back. What do I do? I don't want to treat him any differently because of it, but I feel funny about it all. Any advice is welcome. What? I can't stop going back to he lets me wear the ring inside. What? I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I kind of think that this guy sounds like a baby. He's 36 years old. You're 26 years old. I mean, whatever, that's not a huge age gap, but it's there. It's worth mentioning. But he had to make sure you would say yes. A tad insecure. Oh, and that's pretty much what the top comment says. They said, so you went ring shopping, picked a ring, you wear it in the house, and he still needed reassurance that you will say yes? Make it make sense. Yeah, he sounds really, really insecure. He definitely showed his colors right there. I mean, he's almost 40 years old. I don't know, maybe you guys haven't been dating. Like, how long have you been together? It doesn't really mention that. And I'm checking in the comments too, but I don't see anything from OP. I just think that it's weird. It feels a little bit controlling and a little bit manipulation. And maybe even he has some sort of weird humiliation thing where he wants to make you feel bad. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I just think that's so odd. I'm sorry. I hope that you get the answers that you want. I don't have any for you other than maybe rethink this. It's a little odd. It's a little odd. All right, next story. This is from r/entitled people, which is one of my favorite threads on TikTok. I love reading about things that people do. It gets me so fired up. It's called, my friend said I owe her half my inheritance because her family, quote, didn't have that. So my great aunt passed away and left me a decent inheritance. Nothing wild, but enough to pay off my student loans and set aside a little savings. I told my friend, we'll call her Rachel, over lunch. She got quiet. She then said, wow, must be nice. I bet you'll help out your friends who weren't so lucky growing up. I laughed and said something like, I mean, I'll probably treat my friends to dinner more often. She stared at me and then said, dead serious, no, like actually help. We've known each other forever. I think it'd be fair if you split it. I thought she was joking. She was not. She then brought up all the times that she covered my coffee in college and said that This is just a universe evening the score. Needless to say, I didn't share a dime. She blocked me on Instagram and told our mutual friends I ghosted her after I got rich. Sorry, Rachel. The only thing I'm splitting is the check with people who actually support me. I find this so wild because this happens a lot. And I think I even read a story not too long ago, or maybe heard it on a podcast, about someone who quite literally went through the same thing where they signed a book deal, they made a ton of money, and then out of the blue, their friends were like, oh, well, you're going to be paying for all of us for dinner now, right? Because you've got all this money, even though they were well off. She was like, what? Just because people have more money all of a sudden doesn't entitle you to it. And I find that so crazy. In fact, I had the same sort of attitude from people who used to be my friends when I became a stay-at-home mom and my husband's business started doing well. Some people started treating me differently because of that and expecting me to like pay for things, and I just didn't appreciate that. And they're no longer my friends. Top comment on this one is shaking my head. My husband and I were discussing possibly taking the kids to Disney World, not even making plans necessarily, but kicking the idea around. My sister-in-law heard about it somehow and called a family meeting and went completely off, saying that we can't do that because she didn't have the money to go as well. She wasn't even taking it like she would expect to go with us, just that we flat out couldn't have a vacation because she couldn't afford to take her kids on a vacation. She felt that it would make her look bad for not being able to keep up with the Joneses. She gets mad if a friend or family member has a car that costs more than her, a house, jewelry, anything. It blows my mind. That is a huge envy, ego, jealousy problem. And to that I say, if she wanted to step up the game and get on everybody else's level, she could. Obviously, she just wants to complain. We do love to complain around here though, so I can't say anything. Okay guys, that's where we're gonna wrap it up today, as my son just woke up and is very unhappy. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let's make sure that we keep liking, subscribing, whatever, watch the YouTube video, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you all so much, and no matter what, don't stop complaining. Bye.